should think about heading to our next destination.
Ah, look who it is. Running into you
Hi,
in a
Dia.
place like this. I can see you two still love wandering around.
Oh,
It's not like we have anywhere else to go.
Since when are we just wandering around? We're usually taking care of some serious business. But never mind that. What brings you here?
I just finished a commission in the desert for a usual client of mine. Nothing too interesting. Just escorting a shipment of goods. I'm on my way to report. That's when I saw you two all the way over there, chatting away.
I knew from the moment I saw
Huh?
this NPC.
You serious? Can't
I was
say
gonna
I saw
have to talk
that
to him.
coming. But you are travelers after all.
No need. Oh, Paimon had no clue you'd miss a...
Sounds good. So, when are you leaving?
Oh, wait a sec. Paimon just remembered there are still a few dishes in some...
You look tired, my dude.
I see. Guess
He's
you won't be
suspicious.
needing a going away part. Though, now that I think about it...
By the way...
So
should
tell
we go say
Sino
bye
and
to
Tainari we
Mia?
said goodbye.
Oh, good point. Then there's no need to bother her in the...
Then, I guess this...
Goodbye, Dia. Bye-bye, Samir.
To go. Yeah, I already claimed plenty. Point something out. So, Tainari's vision, nothing happens. Nihida will light up. So with Barbara's, but with Planet, look, Tainari doesn't light up. It's their fault, but Lennox does that. I just
After crossing all that sand and water, we finally made it. Oh, this must be Fontaine's port. Wow. Everything looks so advanced in Fontaine.
Yeah, it does.
Paimon's heard that the industry here is extremely developed, and there are all kinds of unusual machines. Just seeing the sights as a tourist is nice, but
I'm surprised my phone was
maybe it
able
would be
to
better if
handle
we
the
found something to
storage.
do. What do you think?
I will try to figure out how to
Peter
start
gave us
recording
lots
on my
of useful
computer.
information. Seeking out the Seven is probably still our best source for information at this point. Yeah, the more we can learn, the better. So, what do you think the Hydro Archon's like? Will we get along? Nahida said that she has a very unique personality. Maybe something's the matter. She isn't going to jump into the water, is she? Maybe we better go check on her.
Wind. The sun shone brightly, and the air was filled with the scent. But now, the water is gradually swallowing our memories. It won't be long before it swallows.
Oh, we didn't.
I see.
I still can't get over
It's
this.
unusual for Lynette to
Man,
be so willing to talk
She
with
has
anyone.
the same voice actor as
In fact,
Blade from
she
Star
seldom
Wars.
speaks at all. I'm usually the only one she ever talks to.
Oh, really? Then you two are just like us. Paimon's always the one talking for some reason. So that's how you think?
I also think my brother can be too talkative at times.
Mood.
See,
That button is hanging on for dear life. Whee! Look, babe, we mean no harm. She started it.
Are you not afraid?
No,
Might I
literally
remind you
kicked
that
Ryan's
this is a
ass.
duel against the
What the hell?
Ta-da!
What's that on Paimon's back?
it says that every person in Fontaine is born with sin. No matter how the nation of justice holds trial after trial, this sin cannot be until one day, the water levels in Fontaine will rise, and the sinful people... In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain. weeping on her throne. Only then will the...
That sounds...
She's pickpocketing him.
Oh, he's right!
Shh, keep your voice down. We need to think of a way to catch her, but it seems she's very alert. You two can ride the lift over there and wait up top. All right,
Charlotte! That's just ironically the name of my ex.
That's right. The first missing girl case happened almost.
Okay, Paimon hopes we can chat again soon, Charlotte. See ya!
Bye now. Oh, be sure to stop by and see me at the Steambird when you have.
are endless.
She did quite a bit while I was AFK. I did eat though.
But this isn't what you came for. These little tricks, you've seen them all before. So it's time for something truly extraordinary, don't you think? This one's a little tricky. Using this water tank, I shall make my sister vanish completely, right before your very eyes.
It's showing me with Hydro.
It's
but I
actually
haven't
quite
gotten the
simple.
Hydro element.
She'll just turn into air bubbles and float right out of the top. Oh no! I told them to check all the props carefully. With the lid on, even air can't escape. An amateur magician would be getting very nervous right around now. Luckily, it's me on stage, so let me show you what a true virtuoso can do. Lynette, are you still there? Don't go too far. We don't want to use up all our magic.
Hi, I'm back.
Uh-huh.
Why is it showing me the Hydro? I haven't gotten the Hydro element. I used Dendro.
Whoa! What in the world just happened? How did he do that? Wasn't Lynette
See?
inside the water tank? How did she disappear and then reappear out of nowhere?
If we could see easily through his tricks, then that would mean that his skills are still left. To appreciate magic, you should focus on the show happening on stage, rather than getting caught up.
That's right. Paimon couldn't believe her eyes when...
Thank you, everyone. I'm glad you enjoyed that performance. But our magical journey has only just begun. The magic of transformation and disappearance can go far beyond what you've just seen. I'm sure many of you are thinking that escaping the water tank was impressive enough. But in which case, I have... So, for my next trick, I will... Please, if my assistants could... There are 2 boxes, and only 2 boxes. One is here, and one is there in the aisle among the audience. I'm sure many of our clever audience members have already guessed our lucky audience member and... Now please, everyone pay very...
Wow! How's he... Hey, do you think this is all magic tricks? Or does Lenny have actual superpowers?
The lucky audience member will be generated by this. It selects numbers entirely at random. Even I don't know who will be chosen. Now then, let's begin.
Please be Paimon. Please be Paimon. Please be Paimon.
Oh, let me see. Please, come forward. My assistant will take you I'm sorry, it might be a little cramped inside, but no need to feel nervous. You don't need to do anything. If the magic is interrupted, who knows where you might end up.
Oh.
All right. Before, like this. 60, 59, 58. I won't be able to see anything in the pitch black box, so I'll be relying on... Oh, and no tricks.
Ooh! Paimon kinda wants to count faster after hearing him say that!
No, that won't do. Come on, repeat after me.
60! 50!
That's right, perfect.
54? Why aren't you counting, Nev?
I am counting in my head. Merely a consequence of my identity.
Oh! Alright. You look so serious that Paimon... 40! 30!
Mr. Lenny, are you all...
Yes, I'm fine. It would be a disaster if we...
Even though he's saying that, Lenny doesn't seem nervous at all. What was that noise? Did you hear it too? Not sure. Anyway, that's... 25!
What's wrong, Mr. Lenny?
I seem to have accidentally knocked over a decoration.
Never mind.
No, that's...
19!
It feels like you're all
Is he
starting to
pulling
count
our
faster,
leg?
But that's all right. I know 10 seconds and change.
10!
Almost there now. Whew. Swapping two people is harder work than you might think. Even a master magician like me can't guarantee I'll get it right the first time. Hey, wait! Is this the back one? I can't tell. They both look the same inside. Huh? No, that's not it. I'll try again.
7!
Hey, slow down! Honestly!
5! 4! 3!
Whoops! That doesn't count!
0!
Ta-da!
Well, why is it still showing me with the high road? Although I will not lie, we need to see it for
What happened?
What the hell?
Is this part... Mr. Laney, you're going to...
What happened?
Oh no. Maybe this isn't part of the show. The girl was...
This performance is over. Medical staff...
Yes, that's right. If this was just an accident, then we must investigate the cause.
No need to be alarmed, you two. We'll get to the... Unfortunately, the person who is in the magic box has been pronounced dead. Apparently, the fireworks on stage ignited the ropes that were... As of now, we are still not sure why we found Cowl in the box, rather than the guest from the audience. And after an initial search of the area, the guards have confirmed that the girl... It appears that this incident was not merely some mishap, and there are many indications that it is connected with the case of the
That's the case that Charlotte mentioned before.
I know. I say that our powerful magician, Mr. Linney, is now the prime suspect for the serial disappearances case.
What the hell would Lenny have to do with all of this? How old is Lenny?
I guess he's at least 19. Maybe early 20s. He doesn't look like he's in his 20s. How old is this fool?
Huh? Why me? This...
No, This all occurred during your magic show, did it? Now that I think about it, that whole speech about
That can't be right. How can Lenny do this?
I don't think it's Lenny. Cause how old is this fool? I guess it's like I said, 19, 18, 20. Even then, if it was him, 20 years ago, I doubt he's in his 30s. He's old enough to be causing the disappearances of all these girls when he's starting his 20s.
He was in the box on the stage the entire time. But besides, before the show, he told us that he would like to catch the criminal behind the disappearances. He couldn't possibly mean catching himself.
Save discussion for a later time, please. Lady Farina, may I assume that you...
I just think that he...
But what Lady Farina said just now makes perfect sense.
A kidnapping and murder
I mean, of course, my dear people. That's right. I mean you, traveler. You'll support Lenny, won't you? After all, he was the one who helped you the first time we
Are we about to become a lawyer?
Then there's no problem at all. But with Lenny's help, our little duel ended in a draw. So no more draws. Between the two of us, there must be a clear winner and loser.
It wasn't a draw.
I understand. Charges... Well, traveler, seems Lady Farina has set you in her sights. Are you willing to
We're
act
fucked.
as Mr. Linney's attorney? Very well. The trial will be held a day from now in the opera. Linney and his troupe are all potential suspects. The audience may begin to leave...
A day
But I
isn't-
doubt this fucker's in his 30s. They said the case was going on for 20 years. But I doubt he would be old enough to be pulling such a stunt.
Sorry about...
Of course.
Yeah, I'm a little shaken up myself. I know you already claimed that you would defend me, but now it's just us talking. Tell me, good to hear. I'm sure everyone sees me as the biggest suspect at this point. But if you ask me, the whole I don't know whether what happened there on the stage was purely an accident or not. And I asked for how that girl chosen from the audience could suddenly disappear. I'm afraid I don't. Even a skilled and knowledgeable magician like myself couldn't pull all that off and...
Which is precisely why we need to investigate. As this book says, the impossible could not have happened. Whatever happened must have been that which is possible.
I'm screenshotting that.
Paimon bought them when we were reading at the bookshop in the city earlier. Don't worry, Paimon used her own savings to buy them. It wasn't from our travel fund. You have good taste, Lynette.
That's the
I
right
didn't mean to
attitude.
stop recording.
But with
that
the
wasn't
guards
my
watching
bad.
our every... Good thing you agreed to be our...
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, since we're going to start investigating, Paimon has a question first.
Oh, well...
The secrets behind our magic are past saving.
I suppose you're right. The truth behind our tricks... 'Tis truly a pity. But if revealing our secrets will... We should go somewhere else.
All right, let's go have a look while the investigation teams are still here. Hello, officer. How's the investigation going?
Is she still wearing the glasses?
I see. You must be the traveler.
Huh? What?
Come with me and you'll see. The deceased is one of Linny's assistants, named Cal. Even though he hadn't joined the troupe long, he was hard. The assistants are usually in charge of setting up and inspecting the props. As you probably saw when you were in the audience, the water tank suddenly fell and smashed the box with Cowl inside it. This is the real mystery. We've already searched the scene and we're... However, if you look carefully, the box was positioned directly under the water tank. The ropes holding the tank were then burned by the pipe. All these factors lining up so perfectly makes it hard. If anything, the more logical explanation is that
But he doesn't have a motive.
Are you both good friends of his?
Well, you can't...
So in just a short time, he was... I know there's no such thing as magic.
I
I've
don't...
seen a lot of cases.
I mean,
And
it
I
could
can
be a
tell you
possibility
that
the
people
Fatoui's
are the
minds,
least
but Lenny
reliable
is
kind of
technically
evidence.
a Fatoui, but I doubt he would be old enough to be punks like this. This case has been going on for 20 years.
Sorry, I tend to be... Anyway, you may investigate the scene of the crime
And why would he want to kill off one his good hard workers? Are we now playing a Clue game? We're playing a game of Clue.
So this is the rope that broke. The rope looks pretty durable. How can it be burned through so quickly by fireworks? Why are you suddenly so serious, Traveler? Whoa. Look! Most of it was burned away, but there's still a little bit of it left. Huh. So if... Wait! Why would you write all this...
Go ahead, have a look around.
Sir, that was very rude. We can go question the guard over here.
Hello there!
The seats were all booked in advance, so we were able to deduce the missing woman's identity by checking the guest list. Sure, it's not like this is... Her name is Halsey. She's a painter from Fontaine who's made a... Apparently, she wasn't a regular at the Opera House, but the Magic Troupe members all claim not to know her. We have looked into her social connections. It seems that she has no personal grievances, or simply put, she wasn't related to the Magic Troupe at all, which matches the features of the previous serial appearances.
She's still wearing the glasses.
Were the victims of...
That's how it
I
seems
didn't
to us.
mean this
in
to
any case.
be an
Apart from the
emoji.
fact that they
Okay then.
don't need to be so it is of utmost importance that we get to the bottom of these disappearances.
Team has some new findings. Turns out there's an issue with the random number selector after all.
See? I told you. What if the machine...
Sorry to interrupt, but we're helping Linny and Lynette with their side of the investigation.
You're trying to help them?
Lenny used the machine to pick a random member of the audience during his performance. Well, we thought there might be a serious...
It turns out that the seat number it picked wasn't random at all. The machine picks that I'm sure you already know that you have to make a reservation in advance. In other words, Linny...
That much check...
Let you see why I was saying it'd be tough to make a case for Linny.
I see that you're investigating the area. If you find any new and interesting leads...
We don't have too many thoughts yet.
Then why don't I tell you my hypothesis first? The way I see it.
The thud? Oh!
Yes, exactly. It wasn't terribly loud, but I suspect... It's just that everyone was awaiting the results of Linny's trick with bated breath. So no one paid it much mind.
That thud was
Now that
quite
the incident has
interesting.
happened, the thud...
That...
I'm of the opinion that it may have been the sound of Linny's accomplice. Lynette, perhaps. Jumping atop the water tank, and when the pyrotechnics went off, she...
Wait, wasn't the noise we heard...
Perhaps the balance wasn't right, leading to a particularly rough landing. Oh, that's true.
That does...
Yes, both of you.
Huh? You mean us?
That's right. If I'm not mistaken, you're also among those who wish to cut down the thorns and pursue...
Well, you're right on the more about that one, but who are you?
Have
She's
you never
Taylor
heard
Swift.
of the Spina di
Duh.
Rosula?
From mediating disputes and providing protection to solving conundrums. And I, Navia, have the honor of being its renowned president.
She's
Though
actually
those who
pretty.
play by our rules call me boss.
I'm Silver, her attendant. Pleased to meet you.
And I'm Meluche.
I knew you'd figure out most. The two magic boxes are positioned right above the. See this flatbed trolley? The box with the lucky audience member in it would be shuttled over to.
This trolley can raise and lower and even rotate, ensuring that the box will face in the right direction.
I see. So that's the purpose of the...
Precisely. The inner box would descend after the audience member was put inside and be moved along.
So that's how you did it!
Once the box was lowered, the trolley would store some energy through this device here. The audience member would only be able to feel some slight movements in the dark, and by...
Right! You were talking...
Ah, yes. A phonograph operated by... My assistant and I had already...
And what about Lynette?
I was in the mezzanine space in the back of the...
Trial time, baby.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
Yeah.
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help.
Well now, don't you all look disappointed? Don't tell me that your investigation came... That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so easily.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session. Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact...
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
That's a very good
The
question.
roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any...
No, nothing.
So he didn't hear the
I see.
bang.
But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard...
Huh?
The House of the Hearth?
What does that have to do with
No
anything?
wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatsui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened, or your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord. Oh, good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
In that case, what is your request?
I request a brief endorment. There are some things that must
Is that
be
really
discussed.
necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
Shut the fuck up.
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Shut up.
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
Recess
So
period.
you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have. In that
I'm already
case,
friends with several
my dear
Fontaine.
audience, let's allow the joy of
Right. Let's hear your answer first, and no lies now.
Of course. I'll answer any question you ask. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick, with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, which should have been impossible, of course, I was quite certain that I was the only one, and that voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought.
Somebody else went in there.
After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But, like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you
I trust him.
Okay.
Alright, we should have called
Thanks
Yankee,
for giving
though.
us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna... Huh? Oh, Paimon
Yeah,
thinks
recess
she gets
period
what
is
you
almost
mean.
over.
That took long enough. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Oh god, this is gonna be confusing as hell.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which he did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the... Finally, he used the vase to knock her out before making her change clothes. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise. So Linney proceeded to knock him afterward. Linney passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands. Before... And there you have it. That...
Does the defendant's side have any...
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order...
Let's first...
According to Linney... Linney went to the room...
I hope I'm doing this.
Linney did not take...
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say! When the countdown started, Linney did indeed go into the tunnel. But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice. in what should have been an empty room.
Mm-hmm.
Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately.
Yep.
The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view.
Take that. I did it right. Huzzah.
Are you sure we don't need to give this more thought?
Okay, not that.
That's right! Lenny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. This means that when the crime happened, Lenny had already entered the basement via the vent.
He vented.
The clue he used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! How do you like that?
Love Paimon.
Well played.
We have pulled.
To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't
the
Lenny who
Uno
committed the
reverse
crimes,
card.
then who was it?
Why ether? Who means period?
Could there have been a third person involved? Is that... Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience. The deceased's name is
Ha! I guessed.
That can...
Oh, is that...
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to... No one entered or left the opera house through its entrance.
Yes.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The sound we heard It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into... No one entered or left the... The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey's
Okay,
clothing...
I definitely know.
It would have been tough for both... No one entered or... No one entered or left the opera house. The deceased's name is Lenny was not in the tunnel at... The deceased's name is
Am I missing something?
The sound we heard may have come from a clap. Lenny was not in the tunnel at that The deceased's name is Cowell. The sound we heard may... Halsey's clothing...
Okay. Okay, but Lenny was correct. Okay.
No one entered or... It would have been tough for both... No one entered or left... Halsey's clothing...
Okay. Okay. Hang on, I'm gonna do this off camera. So he's selling
The notes also
drugs
state that these dissolution
dissolve
properties
you?
work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by sufficient evidence.
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
I mean, y'all literally have
Reminds
been
me of a certain
gifted to me
prophecy.
by gods.
It's just a coincidence, isn't it?
So,
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowl was targeting that girl... Wait just a minute. Could that mean...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just try...
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effect. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the... Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
Of course. Thank you. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal heart! Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
My loyal audience, allow me to...
fuck.
Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowl then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial... But upon his return, in cruel avarice, ultimately, he knocked Cowl out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up now, as much as...
That's outrageous.
Am I right?
We've used up all the evidence. Is this the...
Oh
no! Sorry.
Wait, isn't that Halsey?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me. And then before I knew it...
That'll teach you to...
Where should I begin? I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Cowl.
But... what?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket.
So she was a fake!
I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. And I'd never been caught before. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Linny was the one who caught me in the act.
Hey! No wonder you look familiar. Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the numbers... He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was on to me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really.
Being dumb.
The strange sound... The flower vase was not... Lillian was a...
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian panicked. Her panic only intensified. Hearing the commotion, Cowl leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lillian had not dissolved. He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way, mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but with no way of escaping, she changed her...
Take that. I still don't understand why we're blue. Wouldn't we be red and she be blue because she's the Hydra Archon and Lenny uses
Actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be to cover up any evidence while committing the deed. Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop, and he poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box, and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud... Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and... However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed in... Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before... As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the Opera House. From this reconstruction of events... While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct, this case, at least, can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final. As such, Linny and
Great work, partners.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we
Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent mora off it.
So they're drug
The disappearances
dealers.
were also the boss's idea.
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
Lynette and I were left to survive. I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to...
That was how we felt at first, too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner.
That doesn't seem too bad either.
It took a while for me to after one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a...
Oh no. But what if Fontaine...
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care. And they have their way. I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person, and hurried through the night. All I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans. Father, I mean, the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me... The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, I was hesitant to trust her. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power when she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that?
She's
That's
like
right.
an anti-hero.
The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat
Honestly,
that
though,
crisis.
Arlecchino has to be one of my favorite harbingers.
Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy. All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are from Fontaine. We won't give up on defending our homeland. To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis, everything is aimed at...
It's alright. I understand.
Can we
the
just
only
be
thing
neutral?
I can do is relate all this to you.
I won't distrust you.
I just
won't
hope you can
distrust me.
understand that even as a member of the House, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that if you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my best to help you, as plain Linny.
I understand. Goodbye.